He's back.
How would you like
He's
maybe
back.
a little Tribble?
Oh, he's got a lot of tribbles. Do you want to buy them back? Oh, if you could sell them though, you'd make a fortune. You can't give them away.
Well, this is a drink for a man.
What is it?
Scotch was invented by a little old lady from Leningrad.
Who's this guy? Who's the third guy in this group? They really hate him.
The Earth is like those fuzzy things.
You sure do.
I never liked Earthers. They remind me of regulant bloodworms.
Easy, lad. You ought to be more forgiving.
There is one Earthman who doesn't remind me of a regulant bloodworm.
Go on.
That's Kirk. Kirk may be a swaggering, overbearing, tin-plated
Careful,
dictator
Chekhov.
with delusions of godhood.
He's trying to start a fight.
But he's not soft.
Everybody's entitled to an opinion.
Yeah.
That's right.
You heard what he called the captain.
It's not worth fighting for.
Scotty's so chill.
You're big enough to take a few insults.
We like the Enterprise. That sagging old rust bucket is designed like a garbage scow.
Oh, Scotty. It's one thing to insult all of humanity. It's one thing to insult that captain. But it's an entirely different thing to insult the ship. Your pride and joy. You've been looking up technical specification manuals for the last 3 days. You've been using all your shore leave to read up on all the gizmos and goos and things. Haven't you? And this guy's saying it's a hunk of junk. A hunk of junk, Scotty. I was saying Scotty's being really chill. I guess he's only really impulsive when it comes to protecting people he loves, but maybe the ship is also a line he won't. Whoa. What's your deal, Klingon? You just bored? Bored on shore leave? You want to start something? Well, you're gonna get it.
Half the quadrant knows it.
Don't you think you should rephrase that?
Yeah, rephrase it, Klingon.
You're right. I meant to say that it should be hauled away as garbage.
Ah. Well, that's it. That's it. Here we go. Oh, sucker punch. Ah, get in there, Chekhov. Time to close the bar for the day. He's getting out of there. Oh, he's helping himself to the booze. Good try, Chekhov. This guy is good. He's taking on 2 Klingons at once. That guy's taking on 2 drinks at once. Whoop. This salesman guy reminds you of Mud a little bit. No. At least you have another one, right? Yeah. What a scene. I don't think we've ever seen a scene quite like that. It was just a kind of a comedy fight scene. The first time we've had one of those. We've had fight scenes. We've had comedy scenes. But we've never put the two together. It was just one long... It felt like a slapstick movie scene, in a way. It didn't bother me, though. The I Mud stuff kind of bothered me, but this didn't.
A small disturbance between the Klingon crew and members of the Enterprise crew has broken out aboard Space Station K7.
Oh, they're all lined up.
I am forced to cancel shore leave.
I want to know who started it.
The Klingon.
waiting.
The Klingon.
Who started the fight?
I don't know, sir.
Chekhov.
I don't know, sir.
I don't know, sir.
Could have been anybody. Maybe the bartender.
You're all confined to quarters until I find out who started it. Dismissed.
Damn it.
Scotty, not you. Who threw the first punch, Scotty?
Well,
I did, Captain.
You did, Mr. Scott?
yeah. They insulted you, though.
They insulted us, sir.
Yeah.
Some insult.
The Klingons say... Is this off the record?
No, this is not off the record.
Well, Captain...
That's funny.
Klingons call you a overbearing, swaggering dictator with
Yeah.
delusions of godhood.
Is that all?
No, sir. They also compared you with the Danubian slime devil.
A slime
see.
devil.
And then they said that you were...
I get the pictures. And after they said all this, that's when you hit the Klingons.
No, sir. They're big enough to take a few insults. Aren't we?
I love the music.
What was it they said that started the fight?
They call the Enterprise a garbage scow.
Yeah, Kirk. You can understand.
That's when you hit the Klingon.
Yes, sir.
Kirk should understand. Kirk loves the ship.
Scotty, you're restricted to quarters until further notice.
Grounded.
Thank you, sir. That'll give me a chance to catch up on my technical journals.
That's just what he wanted. He never wanted to go on shore leave. Oh jeez. We gotta get rid of these right now. Put a lid on this thing anyway. Who's feeding them?
What's the matter, Spock? They seem to eat a great deal.
Why are we feeding them?
I don't know too much about these little tribbles yet, but there is one thing that I have discovered. I like them better than I like you. Doctor.
Hey, look, Spock has a witty comeback coming right now, but what are you talking about, Doc? You took one to study it, right? You're like, hey, Uhura, can I take this to... need to figure out what the hell it is, how it works? Now the entire sickbay, there's like 100 of them here. You don't see... wow, you don't see the problem? They're breaching containment, Doc. The little tub thing you put them in has overflowed. They're now everywhere on your... There's probably one sitting on your skulls. They're getting into your brandy. And the Doc's acting like it's just, I mean, there's a few of them here. There's at least 12, 12 is... We've established that 12 is a small number, so... 12 12s, 144, it's all 12, Spock. Anyway, what do you gotta say to that, Spock? He likes him better than he likes you.
Yeah, they do indeed have one redeeming characteristic.
Oh?
They do not talk too much. Do excuse me, sir.
Lock the door behind you, Spock. Don't let them get out. Oh, there's one on the bridge. There's 2, 3, 4. There's 100 of them here. Got freaking whoopee cushion.
Dr. McCoy, would you mind coming up to the bridge?
Yeah, we've got a situation, Doc. I don't know if you've noticed it. Leslie's got the biggest supply of them. They're just sitting on all the controls.
How did all these tribbles get on the bridge?
Yeah.
They do seem to be all over the ship.
I blame her. She brought the first one.
Do you want to see me, Jeff? Well, the nearest thing I can figure out is that they're born pregnant.
They're born pregnant?
Which seems to be quite a time saver. Clean up the entire ship. Contact Mr. Lurie and tell him I'm beaming down.
Aye, sir.
And get these tribbles off the bridge.
Yeah. Get a shovel. And a bucket.
And tribbles are not dangerous.
Just incredibly prolific.
Precisely.
They're eating all our food.
Well, I must be tending my ship a while.
See you. Oh, this guy. And his assistant guy.
Go ahead, sir. Tell him. In my opinion, you have taken this entire very important project far too lightly.
I think of this project as very important. It is you I take lightly.
He doesn't like you at all.
That you have given free and complete access to this station to a man who is quite probably a Klingon agent.
To whom are you referring?
That man who just walked out of here.
That guy? But the Tribbles don't.
It seems that he was within the Klingon sphere of influence less than 4 months ago.
It's quite possible that he is also a Klingon spy.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I have a ship to tend to. Au revoir.
Au revoir. See you later, dude. He just hates that guy. He'd kill him if he had half a chance. They stick to the walls pretty well, don't they? They're getting into the chess game too. Oh, they're in the food. That's the final straw.
I want these things off the ship. I don't care if it takes every man we've got. I want them off the ship.
Yeah, how do we do that, though?
And they're probably in all the other food processors, too.
There's too many.
Probably through one of the air vents.
There are vents of that type on the space station.
And in the storage compartments.
Oh, they're going to eat all the wheat. All the quadrillion. There's going to be a tribble the size of a mountain.
Guard, is that door secure?
Yes, sir. Nothing could get in.
Good.
Sir, it seems to be stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the bit. This is the bit I know. Yeah. I thought I was on board the ship. Well, there's no more grain. You can... How do we get them off the space station? How do we get them off anywhere?
They seem to be gorged.
On my grain?
Yeah.
I am going to hold you responsible.
They ate it all.
Be thousands of them.
1,771,561.
How do you know, Spock?
That's assuming one Tribble, multiplying with an average litter of 10, producing a new generation every 12 hours over a period of 3 days.
Okay.
You have insulted me. You have ignored me.
Yeah.
You've walked all over
He has,
me.
though.
I am going to hold you responsible,
Mr.
Kirk.
Ferris, I'll hold you in irons if you don't shut up.
I think I've got it.
What's up?
All we have to do is quit feeding them. They stop breeding.
Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc. Are you Albert Einstein, Doc? Remember when I said way back, just don't feed them anything and see what happens? See if they still continue to multiply and grow, and then you're like, how does that work? E equals MC squared. Where are they getting their energy to get all this math from? You know, they're breaking the laws of physics. Isn't that right, Doc? Just don't feed them. That's great advice, Doc. Thanks for... Was he already on the planet? He didn't beam down. Thanks, Doc, for that. Get back on the ship. I didn't give you permission to come down here. Hey, Leslie, get back to the bridge, will you? You're not a random redshirt. Get back up there. Help get rid of the Tribbles. You know? Get a big net, put the ball in the net, or a... Just, I don't know. You know what? Evacuate the ship, right? Get everybody off the ship. That's step 1. Step 2, open the vents. All the vents in the ship to the vacuum of space. That'll kill... I know what you're saying, they're cute. That'll kill all the Tribbles. All the Tribbles are gone. Out into space. They can be with... I'm going to spoil the last episode. They can be with that guy. Out in space, you know? They can keep him company. And then we repressurize the ship. We carefully beam everybody back, making sure no Tribbles are with us when we're beaming. And then we order 24, the space station, and never come back. Hey, remember when Trelane was a Klingon? Remember that? And I was like, hey, it's Trelane. He's the Klingon. Hey, Trelane. Where did he go? He hasn't been in the episode at all. I guess he's too busy being captain of the ship. He's like, my guys are going to get shore leave, but I'm not going to come down. I'm going to be back on my ship. Yeah, his second in command was more a Klingon anyway. Trelane, he was just being the same guy. I thought he would put on a voice or be more gruff or something. He has the same demeanor, accent, attitude, energy. Exactly the same. I guess it was too much to hope for. Anyway, let's continue the episode. We're about 10 minutes from the end. Let's keep going.
Now he tells me.
This Tribble is dead.
How?
The logical assumption is that there is something in the grain.
Yeah.
A poison?
I want the Tribbles, the grain, everything analyzed. First by Cyrano Jones, and second... Close that door.
Really, Captain Kirk, I must protest this treatment.
Oh, Mr. Jones, with an armful. What do you want?
Hey, Klingon.
Official apology addressed to the Klingon High Command for the persecution of Klingon nationals in this quadrant.
Yeah, it was just a fight.
Who put the Tribbles in the Quadro Triticale? What was in the grain that killed them?
And you get those things out of here.
Yo, he doesn't like him. They don't like Klingons, though. Oh, undercover Klingon guy. Who's that guy all along? Genetically altered to sabotage the grain stuff.
Well, you're right, Mr. Jones. They don't like Klingons.
Hey, Doc. You're not a Klingon, are you?
But they do like Vulcans. Well, Mr. Spock, I didn't know you had it in you.
Obviously, Tribbles are very perceptive creatures.
And you?
Mr. Barris, they like you. Well, there's no accounting for taste.
He's a Klingon.
Jim, this man is a Klingon.
I wonder what Starfleet Command will say about that. What about the grain? Oh, it's poison.
I have nothing to say. All right, I poisoned the grain. Take them away.
Guard?
Hey, Klingon buddies, help me. Help me, Klingon buddies. You didn't help him.
About that apology, you have 6 hours to get your ship out of Federation territory. Hey, you know, I think I could learn to like Tribbles.
Surely we can come to some sort of mutual understanding.
There is one thing you can do.
Yes.
Pick up every Tribble on the space station.
Everyone? There's like a million of them.
It would take years.
17.9 to be exact.
Jeez.
Consider it job security.
Consider it job security. I like that line. See, he's just like mud. They treat him like mud. They give him a punishment like mud. I love this bartender guy. He's the best. Funny little musical sounds they're using. Like the Tribbles theme. See you later, funny little space station.
I don't see any Tribbles around here.
How do we do that?
Scotty did it.
Scotty! Where are the Tribbles?
Really, Mr. Spock's recommendation.
Mr. Spock?
Well, it was Mr. Scott who performed the actual engineering.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott, where are the Tribbles?
I used the transporter, Captain.
Well, where did you transport them? Scott, you didn't transport them into space, did you?
That was my idea. Kind
That'd
of.
be inhuman. I gave them a very good home, sir.
Where?
I gave them to the Klingons, sir.
That's going to cause World War.
Before they went into warp, I transported the whole kit and caboodle into the air engine room, where there'd be no Tribble at all.
Oh, Scotty. Well. Let's start at the end, shall we? It felt very... This episode, actually, not only did the trader guy, whose name I literally knew, like Cyrano Jones? Is that his name? Yeah, not only did that guy remind me of Mud, and how they were treating him remind me of how they treat Mud, but the end of I'm Mud and the end of this episode feel very, very similar, with the cast, all of them collectively giving him a punishment. Well, no, they didn't collectively do that, but giving him a punishment and then collectively giving the Klingons a punishment and then laughing about it and then the episode ending. It felt very much like any episode. We're going to put it in its own little category. Any episode that ends with freeze frame laughter, we'll call it like that, even though it's not. Even though they don't freeze frame on the laughter. Anything where everybody's like, that was funny, and then the episode ends, we'll put it in its own little category. So I'm Mud goes in here, this episode goes in there too. And there was a certain whimsical quality to the episode in totality too. I kind of I'm going to look up a few people first, and then we'll continue. Right, this shows how my brain isn't working quite at full capacity. The guy who Kirk hated, like from start to finish, because he called the ship there, he was in an original Twilight Zone episode that we saw, just a kind of a side character in Mr. Beavis. He was also in the Twilight Zone movie, as in one of, I think in the Anthony segment, as one of those people in that chaotic segment. And he was also in an episode of the 80s Twilight Zone, which I just saw yesterday, believe it or not, that won't get to YouTube for months, because I'm so far ahead with the Twilight Zone. But that's crazy. I saw him yesterday, and then I was like, where do I know this guy from? So that's that. The head administrator of the thing is from the Time Tunnel. I'm sure I know him from something else, but for some reason he sticks out as a guy from the time tunnel. Why do I know the time tunnel? Don't ask questions. I don't know. I know his face as being one of the people in the time tunnel, and no, I don't know any details about the time tunnel except for its theme, that guy, and nothing else. It must have been, I think it was reruns when I was a child, and for some reason his face stuck in my head. The bartender was in, this is kind of an interesting coincidence. Remember in Friday's Child we had Catwoman, who was also in a Twilight Zone episode called Of Late I Think of Cliffordville. Well, this bartender was also in that episode, that same episode. So it's a little bit of a coincidence because there's 157 episodes of the Twilight Zone, the original series, so for two actors to appear in that specific episode so close together, that's kind of a coincidence. It's a bit like the Father Knows Best coincidence we had with 2 episodes back to back with 2 actresses who starred in that show. One, Miss Jane Wyatt, who was in Spock's mother in Journey to Babel, and Eleanor Donoghue, who was in that episode with Zephyr Cochrane. What was that called? Can't quite remember. The Blob. It was called The Blob. Honey, I Married a Blob. That's what it was called. Interesting that they have Leslie pulling double duty as not only a bridge officer, but also a random security officer down on the planet. Or on the station. I get concerned now. Anytime they can't kill him twice, right? That'd be double jeopardy. He's fine. For the rest of the series, he's fine. You can't kill him twice. They tried that with Sturgeon, remember? They killed him once, then they brought him back, and then he got to live happily ever after. Dying is like a form of immortality in Star Trek. Once they bring you back, you can't get fooled again. Isn't that right, Scotty? Can't get fooled again. Kirk did not tell Uhura to go to Red Alert. She called the Red Alert all by. She did it by herself. I'm checking the transcript now just to check that. Red Alert was implied, I guess, based on the Code 1 emergency. Oh yeah, and when we got to the station, and the guy was like, you better beam over here. No. There could have been anything over there. There could have been a giant monster waiting for them, holding the administrator hostage. They could, tell us over the comms what the situation is. Yeah, we need you to guard some very important... this sector is vitally important to Federation interests, because it's disputed with the Klingons. We've got this grain that's going to rejuvenate this planet. It's vitally important this is protected. You're the only ship in the area that could do that job. We need you. We appreciate that we're, taking you off course. We're not really, though, because Spock and Kirk were talking to Chekhov about this very issue, this very sector, this very solar system of space. That's what the whole intro was about. So it's very fitting that they would be on a mission here. And then later, Kirk gets direct orders from Starfleet. Kirk, this is highest priority. So it's not just that guy called them there under false pretenses. He has the full backing of Starfleet, too. Starfleet may as well have given the order. Now, unfortunately, that guy's a real jerk. He turned out to be, anyway. The one that Kirk hates, whatever the heck his name is. But yeah, it's interesting that although that guy His assistant turned out to be a Klingon, and that guy turned out to be a real pain in the ass. Constantly on a Kirk about, when Starfleet hears about this, you're gonna burn, and I'm gonna be there to rub it in, and I'm gonna laugh in your face. He turned into one of those guys. Kirk had obviously read ahead in the script and hated him from the moment we got here. Like, I've never seen Kirk treat someone in authority like he treated that guy. Maybe he's just thinking about all the other people we've had in previous episodes, like the Galactic High Commissioner, like anybody who's tried to use their authority to get Kirk to do anything in the past has been a real jerk. So, and Kirk's he's still sore over the deadly years. When Commodore What's-His-Face took his ship away from him. Isn't he? He's like, the next person who tries to do anything at all, I'm gonna let them have it. I'm gonna bring down the force of my sneer. I'm gonna give them the most sarcastic whipping with my words that I can muster. I gotta phrase that all sorts of ways that are better than that. But yeah, you just really felt it though, didn't you? There was something extra. It was a bit like when Desal was giving Chekhov a hard time. It's just something extra that you're like, huh? I kinda get it, but it's a bit much. Anyway, the Tribbles situation, nobody cared about the Tribbles situation. For an episode titled The Trouble with Tribbles, for an episode that's remembered by people, it's the Tribble episode, the Tribbles. I would say that they're not a big factor in the episode at all. They're there in the background, growing ever more plentiful. But they're never, until near the end, they're not seen as a threat. They're not seen as a problem. The Doc doesn't see them as a problem. There's hundreds of them in his sickbay. Uhura doesn't see them as a problem. On the bridge. Everybody's saying how cute they are. I know they're sending out like a little purring pulse. You know, that's making everybody... We don't really go into the psychology of that, whether it's affecting people's judgment. I don't think it is. I think they're just cute like pets. But it would be interesting if they did exert that sort of force, like the Spore Planet, and the more of them there are, the more people are affected by it. That's an interesting story that they could have told, but they didn't because it's a comedy episode, and the Tribbles aren't really the focus of that. There's some very, very funny scenes in this episode. Kirk getting, obviously the one I remember with the Kirk getting hit by loads of Tribbles. The bartender being covered with Tribbles. But also the scene when Kirk is giving his officers a dressing down, that's kind of funny. There's some really funny lines that just get tossed in. Some snappy back and forth dialogue. So, what am I saying? I don't know. It's a funny episode. Yeah, so the Tribbles are taken more as kind of a funny addition to the episode. And they're also integrated into the mystery of who is the secret Klingon. And I was making jokes about putting two beside the turbo lift, so that if any Klingons try to sneak on board the ship, there'd be like a security alert. Just don't feed them. Just don't feed them. You'll starve these poor Tribbles and use them as forced slave labor. Hey, it's better than my idea of beaming them out to space, isn't it? What, wasn't it? Did you think that was super cruel? Did you think I was heartless, monster? I don't care about these Tribbles one bit. They're fictional. They're fictional. It's fine. I'm just a problem solver. Evacuate the ship. Blow them all into space, and then very carefully beam everybody back. Blow up the space station. See, I would kill everybody in the space station too, and then never come back. Speaking of the space station, here's something that doesn't work logically. We've given this guy the the task of picking up every Tribble on the station, right? Now, a couple of things. One, Scotty could do it in 10 seconds with the transporter beam, like he did. He got somehow, he managed to beam every single Tribble on the ship to the Klingon ship without starting a phaser fight. You know? Without causing a breakdown in... This is how you know it's a funny episode, because an act like that is an act of war. The Klingons would go to war if that actually happened, if in a different episode. You know, if we beamed a bunch of things that hate the Klingons into their ship, like thousands of them, or millions. But it's played for laughs. It's played for that and laughs only. But in reality, in a different episode, the Federation and the Klingons are at war right now. Because of that. You could say, well, it's payback for the poisoned grain. But yeah, anyway, I'm eventually getting to the point I was going to make about that guy picking up every Tribble on the space station. That's not his punishment. That's not a punishment for him. It might sound like we've got him like we got Mud. There's other people on that station. That's a breathing, living, hundreds of people on that station doing whatever they're doing, right? They want to get these Tribbles off as soon as possible. They need a solution. And no doubt they're going to find one. They're not going to wait for that guy to pick them up individually. Well, Kirk said I had to. He said I had to or I was going to jail. They're going to beam them all into space. Aren't they? Like, most of them are dead anyway. Because they over-consumed the grain. But yeah, Station Commissioner Time Tunnel guy, he's going to use one of my ideas. That's for sure. Otherwise we don't have a space station. Otherwise we have to evacuate and just go somewhere else, you know? So, yeah, it's important that we treat episodes like this differently to other episodes. That's why we put them in their own little box. And I think we can extend. We can add some rules to these episodes. Anything that happens doesn't need to make logical sense because it's just for fun, just for laughs. And the consequences of whatever happens in this episode can be forgotten about later. In many ways, I use this analogy with a different show, Charmed. I haven't used it too much yet, but I end up doing that show. I call some of the episodes Vegas episodes. You know, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So in these Star Trek episodes, whatever happens in these Star Trek episodes stays within the episode, and we can just move on to the next one. But I did like using the Tribbles to find the secret Klingon. And I did like a lot of the comedy more than the iMod episode. I didn't find it obnoxiously annoying. When there was so much stupid stuff I didn't like in iMod. Most of this actually worked quite well. I like the fight, for instance. The slapstick fight. I like the build up to it, goading Scotty. I like that we established earlier that Scotty was looking at ship manuals and stuff. And then his punishment at the end of that, the whole thing, that whole arc, was great as well. Kirk gave him exactly what he wanted. He didn't want to beam down there in the first place. So all that was well constructed, that part of the story. So we got a kind of a mixture of elements, you know? We got a Galactic High Commissioner guy. Not really, but kind of. We got a Mud guy. Not really, but kind of. We got Klingons. We got a little mystery. And we got a comedy explosion. We got a lot of back and forth dialogue. And the only thing we're missing is Sulu. You know? He would have loved the Tribbles, wouldn't he? And I thought it would be a Chekhov episode. Didn't end up being a Chekhov episode. I thought we were starting with him because we would have growth from him as a character. It might be centric to him, the same way Wolf in the Fold was a Scotty episode. But it didn't. Like, Chekhov was there at the fight, but that was about it. Hey, are they ever going to let him have a Russian thing that's true? You know? Do you think that's ever going to happen? Probably not. Anyway, I had fun with it, and the next episode is called oh, it's a difficult one to say, actually. The Gamesters of Triskelion. The Gamesters of Triskelion. What does Gamester mean? We'll find out next time. We'll find out next time. Hey, look! The Trouble with Tribbles was released on December 29th, 1967, for Christmas. So think of it like a Christmas treat. That's why everybody remembers Tribbles, because it was released when everybody was off home, having fun, enjoying time off, drinking. They're like, hey, funny little gizmo things. Yeah. I'll see you next time.